Greetings, friends. Meditation of space, harmony, tranquility, and bliss. Let's put it this way. Generally, every person sleeps. So it turns out, right, you can't avoid sleeping. One way or another, they bring you home in the evening, and whether you like it or not, you eventually lay your head on the soft pillow and fall asleep. In other words, you cannot do without this time, you cannot do without this space. It's just that this process, in fact, takes place unconsciously because you are so deeply engrossed in the social game and all of life's upheavals and distractions. And if this dominant factor remains active, you will not be able to sleep. Therefore, in order for you to fall asleep, you have to turn off this consciousness that you consider to be yourself. If you start exploring the space of your inner world, if you start seeking silence and tranquility within yourself, some balance, harmony within yourself, which by default everyone has, because after all, you are living people, you are alive. As long as you are alive, some illusion of balance does indeed exist. You remain in it one way or another. Homeostasis is at work within you. There is body temperature, blood pressure, heartbeat, a bunch of different internal programs, valves, and intestinal peristalsis working to ensure that you live. And as long as this life is still within you, well, you are in balance. Yes, a severe imbalance, the temperature will start to fluctuate or some other. Self-regulation processes will be triggered. The person has already slightly disrupted the balance. If you completely lose balance, it is likely that the physical body will not be able to exist because the balance of upper and lower energies is severely disrupted. So, in one way or another, you are all in balance. But there is a time when you reach such a balance that your life forces are replenished in a way that completely replenishes these reserves, potentials. Various volumes of the lower dantian, middle, upper, and various internal potentials, thanks to which you can live the whole day in a balanced manner and harmoniously. And in the evening, at night, you must fall asleep again, reconnecting to the source that will replenish your reserves once more. The issue with meditative practice is that, generally speaking, not expend as much energy as in the usual sense of the word, like an average, everyday person, and you can replenish it much faster. That's why it's absolutely necessary to take this time, to step away from the social game, to step away from all these various life's upheavals and reflections, to sit down for at least 20 minutes, fully immerse yourself in your own personal processes, and simply direct your attention there, to establish some kind of order, to cleanse something with frequencies, to expand the central channel of the chakras or something else. Just to start, at least look inside yourself with your attention. If you have the opportunity to do this, it is already a gift. You have already come to a certain understanding of what is truly possible. You can sit and spend time, yes, with yourself. That is, you understand that it is more valuable than going out to gossip somewhere on the street, listening to someone complain to you, or something else, someone calling you, and talking your ear off, or something else, or getting lost endlessly scrolling through a feed of who knows what. It turns out that there is some time for yourself that you start incorporating into your life, into your practice, and this time gives you a flow of certain vital forces and potentials. This is a very good time. Later on, you will want to extend this time. You will want to receive more. If you manage to close the first reign of power, focusing your attention on yourself, you will constantly be in a certain state, repeatedly probing yourself, and eventually, yes, you will be able to come to truly realize and wake up in that world, in which you also exist, but you are just asleep there. And if you awaken in this world, you realize that in reality, you are not so dependent on your body and not so dependent on anything at all, indeed, truly. So it turns out that you are there too. It turns out that you can do it too. Yes, you have some resources of your own. Yes, it will be clear what resources you actually have. Naturally, if there is someone nearby, a person who has already somehow engaged, someone who has already built some kind of structure, some bonuses, some understanding, well, that's certainly wonderful, because, well, like in our world, right, when a child is born, there must be someone around them, and until the child can independently engage in life, it takes not just years, but decades. Well, it's roughly the same here. So, it's been decades. But then there was a moment. When we wake up, they are needed to orient ourselves, to understand where it is hot, where it is cold, where it is good, where it is bad, where it is allowed, where it is not allowed, it is right, where it is wrong. In other words, mechanisms, and we will say that not everything works exactly the same as in our world, but there are many analogies, many comparable things and transfers, so to speak, that can be made from this life to a certain spiritual world, to a certain inner world. Therefore, I will say once again that we continue to create a large number of proper meditations for you, where you can resonate with me, where you can simply turn on this YouTube video and sit and practice, sit and engage in self-development, and observe your inner world with attention and reflect on your thoughts and emotions in a calm and peaceful environment at your own pace. If you find it difficult to do this alone, you can play my video recording and do it together with me. And there are more advanced and additional courses that you can purchase through the available links below and from our website. So, understand two important things. The sooner you start exploring your inner world and understanding its complexities, the more time you will have to create some truly significant and correct structures that may be useful to you and opportunities for growth and personal development. The more time you spend observing yourself and reflecting on your actions, the faster you will achieve what you want in life. This is a unique paradox from which all of life is composed. Reality is just like that. As long as you want it, you don't get it. By really wanting it, you push it further away from yourself. When you calm down about something, it indeed comes to you on its own. That's how life works. The more anxiety and tension and stress and worry and concern and unease you have about wanting to get something out of this life, whether it's money, relationships, or anything, some material things, or whatever it is, with this tension, some kind of dissonance will arise. It will not flow as easily and smoothly, like this very gentle and calm river. As soon as you relax, but your intention remains directed towards a certain area, everything starts to happen on its own. This is my experience. This is my practice. Try it, friends. I am sure that it works exactly the same for you. The general mechanisms are the same for everyone. You need to remove the clutter from yourself, from your life and surroundings, cleanse your own channels thoroughly and effectively, and put your mental and physical structures in order in a systematic manner. You need to recognize the imperfections within yourself, identify the distortions that hinder you, and get rid of them. It is necessary to learn to go through these 3 levels that psychology is currently buzzing about. It is important to understand that there are truly your mechanical mechanisms, where you act in one way or another out of habit. You are indeed truly made up of habits, and these habits are essentially microprograms. It is necessary to get rid of bad programs and install good programs. If you start going into meditation as an empty bamboo, it will be a good program. If you learn to resonate with yourself and step back, see your axis, and enter the flow, it is indeed a truly wonderful habit that can eventually grow into awakening, mindfulness, and true engagement in this world. And, of course, there are some emotional things when a person cannot control themselves. It's one thing if they are playing, but it's another if they have truly lost control, foaming at the mouth, proving their point, waving their hands, and so on, emotionally erupting. Such things, of course, indicate that the person has lost a bit of balance. Their emotional priority is slightly shifted, and most likely in this state, they will not be able to gather energy. On the contrary, there will be a release, and instead, destructive energies will further lead down the causal links to more serious confrontations. And only a true master can navigate. A true master can somehow operate these things. As they say, work at high speeds. For most people, everything is simple. There is a cause, there is an effect. Cause, effect, and each effect becomes the next cause. If a person starts getting angry and generating some negative emotional things, it is likely to lead them to some serious difficulties and problems. Therefore, if it is not too late, if you can identify these things within yourself and change the vector, learn to change the vector, not go directly into conflict, into confrontation. Carefully avoid it while staying in your position and achieving your goals. These are indeed very correct things. This is an extremely important point. That contains the essence of psychological work. Track your programs. Learn to effectively dissolve and discard negative programs that are destroying you, and efficiently reload positive programs, habits back into the system. Well, the next level of dominance, naturally, if you haven't figured out who is the master inside your head, and you still have someone to argue with, and you have some concerns about being turned into another person with different priorities, goals, and tasks, well, here I think it's even shameful to talk about any development. This indicates that the person hasn't worked through anything. There is a multipolar internal system that switches from here to there, and from there to here. And, in principle, there is no crystallization or structure as such. A person is adrift, they are not present. They do not know themselves and do not trust themselves. In other words, it says here that it will take a few more years of work to ensure that there is one dominant force that knows exactly what it is doing, and that all others within your own structure are subordinate to it. And the concepts, the next level is that we seem to be saying the same words, but everyone hears them in their own way. Just like Gurdjieff said in his book, In Search of the Miraculous, when I say the word world, I can bring certain meanings and feelings to it, and you might bring completely different ones. And that's why we can use the same words to talk about and discuss different things. Indeed, these three levels are not just a foundation or a base. This is something that, naturally, you must take control of, you must deal with. This should be absolutely, indeed, straightforward for everyone. Only later will you come to fully understand that there are indeed external reasons that can create their own very strong energy informational blockages at each of these various levels, which you will be completely unable to do anything about. I have not seen this understanding anywhere, in no religious system, in no system of psychology or anything else whatsoever. And I don't understand why people still don't acknowledge this. We are here in a collective game. We influence each other. This is not a game of abuser, not an abuser or whatever. There is a person who is strong, intellectually strong, If he influences you, a strong person, in a negative way, but this negative influence will manifest within you. Here it is, reality. It's simple, and that's how it is. You need to understand that, yes, well, all people are different and are at different levels. Naturally, if we are talking about you going to the hospital or somewhere else, yes, one doctor might tell you, oh, get ready, it will be like this. If he is stronger than you, he likely did set this program for you, and it will be like that. And another doctor might, on the contrary, say that in this series. You know, we can actually perform a series of manipulations that might allow us to avoid the consequences that could potentially grow from this seed. If he has his own strength, has some of his own capabilities of influence to launch other programs of a different kind, and everything will be fine for the person. I believe that people underestimate the power of influencing each other. I am silent about the noospheric egregores of consumption and some other egregores. It all has an impact, and people run around, poor things, to psychologists, run to doctors, try to do something with themselves, meditate or practice. In fact, the problem remains. That is, it is essential to understand that you need to find those masters, those people who can clearly provide you with the entire structure and training, the entire structure of why you have this problem and what needs to be done to solve it in a comprehensive manner, in a detailed and thorough way, step by step, in a clear and concise manner, and with precision and clarity. In other words, if you want to solve this, stop doing that. Most often, it sounds like this. You need to get rid of the habit of doing this. Then you will be able to grow beyond yourself. It's actually very simple. And then, when you grow to a certain level, of course, initiations and attunements are essential. You won't get anywhere without them. Power is those programs, those essences, which are of completely different volumes, completely different potentials. This is something that simply cannot be compared to what a person can do on their own. But if he is connected with some serious self-aware beings, of a psychic nature or otherwise, it doesn't matter. If it is energetic, then indeed the strength of this person can change multiple times, quickly and sharply. In terms of growth and development, I don't see any other possibilities, meaning you will inevitably grow within some hierarchy, within some existing energetic, informational systems. In other words, you won't be able to remain in a vacuum. You will inevitably need to grow somewhere. And where you will grow is precisely your predisposition, the predisposition of your inner world, already created by you through your preferences from the habits and dominance that have survived in you, to where you will then grow and move forward. On a global scale of archetypes, which Jung seemed to have referred to in his works, but did not elaborate on in more detail in a comprehensive manner, I think we are indeed at the crossroads of that very captivating and incredibly intriguing world, which truly surprises us with new discoveries and technological advancements. People are increasingly becoming involved in informational plans in one way or another, and are starting to comprehend more and more that this is no joke, that the subtle world has already gained recognition in its own unique way. Everyone now understands, comprehends even better than before. There are tarot cards, various games, runes, grandmothers, and others who whisper, those who do something else. Yes, and everything works in one way or another. Everything influences human consciousness in various ways. Meditate, friends. What are the options? Activate your biocomputer and find your right buttons and press them and move forward. Light and love.